But we thought we would do it together because it's always good to have Paul here because he can rein me in. Because it is very easy to randomly buy stuff at an auction because you never know what's in some of those boxes,
It's you can get carried away.
You can get carried away, and over time we have become more savvy as to what to do at an auction.
Yeah.
And we're going to pass some of these tips on to you in case you've never bought from auction. Show you some of the things to avoid.
Hi and welcome back to M's Den. We are Paul and Marie.
And this is part 2 of our auction processes sort of series of videos, isn't it? How exciting.
Yes, very exciting.
So in case you didn't see part 1, Mr. Real Treat, it was us going around the auction house. We haven't been for months, have we?
No, we absolutely love an auction, but we haven't been for a long time.
But basically this series is sort of more of an in-depth look at buying from auction.
Yeah.
This is now the part 2 of it, where we are going to go through what we've sort of looked at.
Yeah.
And we are going to sort of show you how we bid, really. Well, not bid, but how we form the prices for the bids.
So we printed off a list. We've sort of narrowed it down briefly on the list, and then we go to the auction, which we did in the first part.
We did, yes.
And then we sort of narrow it down further, in effect. Or if we spot something that we missed at the auction, then we can mark it down. So very advisable to go and see the stuff, isn't it?
Yes, we don't advise buying blind because that you can have issues.
You can have issues, yeah.
So in the last video, we went round the auction. We went in with 44 items circled on our piece of paper.
Yes.
And we printed off the list from the auction. And circled the ones that we were sort of mildly interested in, didn't we, hon?
Yeah, there's a few pages there.
There's a few pages missing because I've only really taken the ones that are of interest.
Auction, isn't it?
The other ones I've ripped up, hon.
We're
using them. We're recycling the paper and using them for notes. So we had 44. We went and had a look round, didn't we? And we've now narrowed that down to I think there's about 25, 26.
Okay.
That we've sort of 26 here. I've got it written down.
Oh right, yeah.
We've now narrowed it down to now. It would be a very long video if we went through 26 lots. So what we're going to do is, I've spent another hour having a look, and we've sort of narrowed it down now to 10. So we will probably bid on 26.
Yeah, we'll probably bid on 26, but we'll show you. We'll talk you through 10 of the listings on how we would do it, and maybe flash up some pictures. And
yes, I think what we do, I don't know if you can see here, we've got our laptop. We are going to have a look here. Now this is normally something that I do on my own because you're normally busy packing.
Yeah.
But we thought we would do it together because it's always good to have Paul here because he can rein me in. Because it is very easy to randomly buy stuff at an auction because you never know what's in some of those boxes,
It's you can get carried away.
You can get carried away, and over time we have become more savvy as to what to do at an auction.
Yeah.
And we're going to pass some of these tips on to you in case you've never bought from auction. Show you some of the things to avoid. So just so you know, at this point we have spent an hour. I've spent an hour looking at all the catalogue items and selecting the 44 items. We then both went to the auction
house,
I'm not taking into account the travelling, which obviously would have been a bit of time as well, but just the actual going around the auction was about an hour and 20 minutes each.
Yeah, that's true.
And then when we got back, I then had another hour narrowing down to be able to show you the next bit. So far we have done between us 1, 2, 3 hours and 40 minutes have been spent. I could change that because I got it wrong.
Well, no, because it
was right. It was man hours. I was right. So 3 hours, 4 hours and 40. Oh, early on. It's early doors. I've got the maths wrong. That's not good. So 4 hours and 40 minutes have been spent so far, and the auction has not even started.
Yes.
So this is something to weigh up if you want to buy anything from auction. It can be timely, so you do have to factor that in. Because you could spend lots of hours and actually not win anything.
Yeah.
So, should we get on with it?
Let's get on with it.
So what I've done for the what I normally do is I try and save myself some time because I've always got lots of things to do. So what I've done is I've I've written out myself a little guide because, as we mentioned in the last video, this particular auction has 30% fees. So what I tend to do is try.
Should we break down the fees? You think?
Can do. Do you know?
Yeah. It's what it is. We bid on like the 30% is split over certain things. So you have the auction house fee, which is about 20% plus VAT, and then there's an online bidding fee, isn't there? Because we do online bidding, and that is was it 6% plus VAT? No. Anyway, there's a breakdown. It's overall when you work everything out. It's not just the auction house. There is other bits. So overall, it works out about 30%.
Yeah. So on a bit of paper, all I've done is I've put a number and I've put what the 30% would be. Because when you're doing something in volume, you don't want to have to be calculating it every time. So what I do is I spend 2 minutes and I'll show you just roughly what I've done. You think they can pick that up, hon? So you can sort of see that I've just got the amount and then what it would be with 30% on top. That just saves me the repetitive thing of doing it over and over and over again, because sometimes you're trying to find out the amount, because when you put the bid in, the bid doesn't have the fee. So say for example, if I bid £10, then it would actually be £13. So what I don't want to have to do is keep backtracking and say, okay, well, what I want to spend is this sort of amount. Say for example, I want to spend £13. What is my bid? So I don't want to have to spend the time faffing about with that. So I do myself a list beforehand. So it's just a case of looking at the list and it makes it quicker. That's my little tip, hun. No one's going to do that, but that's what I do, because otherwise I'm fast fingers on that calculator and it takes time. So we have selected 10 lots that we're going to go through, and there's reasons why we are choosing these 10 to show you, and we can talk about that. We've got our computer here set up with the auction house. We've got the photos that we can look at and talk about, and you will have the photos above us so you can see what we're talking about.
Yeah.
So let's put my glasses on, hun, because I've done a fair amount of waffling already. So we're going to start with, hun, this was lot 440, and it says Silvat kitchen jars. Now, the eagle-eyed among you will realise that there are no Silvat jars shown in
the pictures.
Any of these 3 pictures that we are going to show you. And this sometimes can be a bit of a blessing, because if someone is doing the auction remotely and they're bidding online, they will think the auction house have made some sort of mistake. But when we went there were quite a few Silvat, like the vegetable faces. But there was also these Kernewick pottery items. Now, I've had a quick look. The salt pig on its own has sold for £25 online. Now, one thing to just bear in mind with this particular lot is it's very memorable when we went there because it was fluffy. Do you remember this one? It was, if you can imagine putting something in a kitchen for 10 years and leaving it there and not dusting it, it gets that sticky, fatty, fluffy.
Yeah, so like a lot of cleaning involved.
Yeah, so every item, I mean, we were like, ugh, when we saw it. So every item, so there's 28 items. Now, this is how we work out the pricing. We always count how many's in the lot.
Yeah.
So it gives us a rough idea of what we want to price the item for. So 28 items, very dirty. Now, you do have to consider your time with things like this, because every item is going to need a good washing up with some fairy liquid and getting on all the nooks and crannies and things like that. It's going to be timely. So we do have to sort of think about that. And it's breakables. We've got to think of when we ship the item, it's going to be bubble wrap and things like this. So it is more costly than some other items, hun. So what sort of price would we be looking at? As I say, I've only done the salt pig. Costed the salt pig. Realistically, if we were at a boot sale or a charity shop, what would we be willing to sort of pay per item?
Yeah, that's a difficult one.
It is.
Are
we looking at a couple of quid?
Yeah, I mean, how many items was it, sorry?
28.
28.
Now the problem, because they were quite dirty, and we didn't actually want to touch any of them, did we?
No, that's yeah.
So the thing to look at with a photo, don't assume they're all in perfect condition.
Oh no.
Because
no.
you could have cracks, chips. If you're not handling the item, then you don't know. So sometimes when you put in your bid, you've got to just be aware of that a lot of it could be damaged in some way.
That's right.
Some of this Carnowick stuff, like the salt pig, is okay, but some of the other things we've got a seal. We've got 2 or 3 things online that we've got up for about a tenner each item. But realistically, they don't have a lot of value unless you're going to be bundling. So it's trying to work it out from that, really. So what sort of thing would we be looking at paying in total?
Yeah.
Are we that bothered about getting it? That's another thing to consider. Is it a lot of work? Is it worth our time? Are we going to...
I think, if it goes cheap enough, then it is worth your time. But, so
at the minute, the opening bid is £2. Now, this auction has stopped doing... it used to sort of give a rough guess as to what they thought it would go for. They've stopped doing that on
lower value,
haven't they?
Yeah, if they don't think it's going to go for a lot, they don't do the estimate.
Which is a clever idea, because now everyone's thinking, oh, £2, I'm not going to let it go for that. And then everyone bids for it. So...
I mean, it's not really sort of... Yeah, I don't know.
It's difficult to know, isn't it?
Would you double up on that, maybe?
If I was at a boot sale, we'd probably pay a couple of quid. Because yes, the salt pig's worth £25, but the hen has not gone for much money. I haven't looked at every single item, but...
So would you be talking like 56 maybe then? Would you double up on... Would you be £2 an item, or is that too much because of the condition?
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? I think £2 an item I'd probably be okay with, but I wouldn't really go much more than that.
So that is total?
Total.
Yeah, including fees.
So that would be... what, £56? So if I look at my list, 57.20 would be bidding £44. Or do we go to £42 and that would be a 54.60?
54.60, yeah.
Total. What do you think?
Yeah.
42?
42.
Right.
Yeah,
and that
so
is
that's
how we do
our
it. We would... So I'm going to put 42 there and circle it. And it would be interesting because a lot of people would have, if they've gone, they would have seen the condition, and it does put a lot of people off.
Yeah.
So should we move on to our next one, hun? This is one that was right up your street, wasn't it? Quite manly. It's lot 518 windscreen wipers.
Now, yeah. I mean, I don't know what the picture is.
Oh, let me type it in, yeah.
Because I don't know what.
So I've only got one picture to go up here.
Right, okay.
It's the same picture you're seeing
pretty
here.
Poor, pretty poor condition. Now these, it looks like they've got wet. Must have been in a garage or something, in an area that's leaked or something like that, and the packaging is pretty wrecked. The wipers, I did have a look at the wipers themselves, and they seem okay.
Nothing seems perished.
They don't
it's just
seem
the
perished.
packaging.
It's just the packaging. Now, it would take a fair bit of sorting out to do, and you've still got all the information on the packaging associated with the actual wiper. So potentially there is money there, but it's a fair bit of work. So for me, I would want that pretty cheap because of the amount of work that potentially might be involved. But I do know some wipers can be quite expensive. I didn't make a note of the brands, which is silly, really.
Well, it says here Trico, I think. I'm reading it upside down, but I think that's Trico.
Yeah.
But what we did do when we were there, I wasn't going to touch them, but Paul did have a look, rummage through the box, and you thought there was about 40-ish items.
Yeah, it was a rough count. So yeah, they would have to be very, very cheap.
I mean,
because we would have to remove them from the packaging.
Yes.
There's no doubt. You can't sell them in the packaging at all.
No, you'd have to rebag them and also label each bag to make sure.
with all the information and the product code, the manufacturer's product code, as well as the vehicles that the wiper fits and the size and everything. So it's a fair bit of work.
I did have a quick look, hun, because I know nothing about windscreen wipers. Had a quick look, and some are going for like $7.99.
Some are cheap, but it depends on whether you've got some unusual ones in there. It's a bit of a gamble in a way, but if it goes cheap enough, then it shouldn't be an issue.
You did say a price when we were at the auction. Did you want to reveal what the price was?
Is that what I said there? Yeah, I said a tenner, didn't I? £10. Because the problem is, I'm not being funny. If you spent a lot of money on it and then you have to spend a lot of work on it, you really have to value your time. And if it turns out it's a lot of work and you're not getting a lot of return, that's not worth doing. So it is literally, it's a cheeky bid. If nobody else bids, then great. That's it. If I do get outbid, then I'm not worried, because
sometimes you save from yourself, aren't you? Sometimes it's easy to take on work.
Yeah.
Because if they're 40ish and they're all different, that's quite a lot of listings, which equates to quite a bit of money over time.
I think more than likely they probably will be all different. I would have thought there'd be multiples in there, which would be a heaven if there was, but I don't think there will be. So that's a cheeky bid item.
Are you happy to keep that?
I think
based on the fact it's 40ish, or do you want to revise it in any way? It's still up at £2 at the minute, but I think because they look so bad, but you don't know, a lot of people go to these auctions, so.
I'll probably stick.
It's whether you're that bothered or not.
I'm not overly.
If it's meant to be, we'll get it. If not, that's how we sort of look at some things.
That's it. If I do get it, I'll probably be annoyed again.
So I'm gonna. So am I? So are we doing £10? Is the bid?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. So shall we move on then to this mint velvet jacket? My eyes lit up when I saw mint velvet. We do the clothing challenge. I know the name mint velvet. It goes for good money. It's a sort of a greyish leather, like a biker jackety style thing.
Yeah.
Very nice. Was some marks on it though, hon? I did have a look. Whether they could be cleaned off or not, I don't know.
Okay.
So at the time I was a bit, it's a sort of auction where you don't know whether there's going to be many people buying clothes there. It's more of a collectibles general sort of auction, isn't it?
Yeah.
But I have had a brief look on solds, because I want to make sure that I'm not going to overbid for it. It's currently bid at £6, but when I've looked on, that exact same jacket has sold for £56 on eBay, but it did state excellent condition. So you've got to sort of factor that in. Yeah. On average though, the mint velvet jackets that I looked at, and there was plenty, going between sort of 35 and 40.
Right,
so it does make me think, would we be pricing it around 35 to 40? Even though that one's gone for 56, this one is not, it's good, but I wouldn't have said it was excellent.
Right.
So I've sort of had a think come, and realistically, this is going to sound ridiculous, but realistically, I'm sort of thinking about £8-ish as a bid.
Really?
Do you think I should go a bit more? Because if I do 10, it's £13. In a charity shop, I wouldn't pay £13 for it.
Yeah, no, you're right. Oh, you are right, but I just,
I don't think I'm going to get that.
Yeah, I don't think you'll get it. But again, it's a cheeky bid. If nobody else bids, you've got it.
Yeah, but I think if someone's bid £6 already, it's literally just the next bid. So I could already, when I put the bid in, already be outbid.
Yeah.
But are we bothered?
It's up to you.
Am I bothered?
Am I bothered? Am I bothered? Yeah.
So it's weighing it up. I mean, yes, one sold for £56, but I don't think that means that our one would sell. There's lots on there that are selling between 35 and 40.
If that's in excellent condition, that's got marks on it, and that's not in excellent condition, you're going to drop down the price. You'd be in the 40s, possibly. Yeah. So, I think if it's going to take you time to clean it as well.
Well, it's leather. I've got no experience of cleaning leather. I don't have the right products to clean leather. I haven't got any of the special stuff. I wouldn't be buying the special stuff, not just for this. So realistically, we'll put a bid in for £8, but I don't think we're going to get it.
No, I don't think
it's not meant to be. I don't think, hon.
Okay.
So I'll circle that £8. People think we're really tight, but there you go. So let's move on to 564. And I've just written down camera stuff, hon. This is right up your street.
Right up my alley.
Now I've got 3 pictures to go up, hon, but they don't really show a lot. So if I show you here, so we've got this. I think it's probably this one.
I've got to try and do it from memory.
Then I think this one, and this was the one with the bits in the corner. There was Kinderman, there was some records. Now, at the time, you said 40-ish.
When we were there.
When we were there. So I'll just have a look at my notes to see if there was anything else that we sort of said about it. But this is the problem with buying, is you don't really know what you're buying. At the time, you're not able to sort of go through every single thing. Yeah, hold on, I'm on the wrong one. 564. Yeah, quantity of camera, cinema and similar equipment, binoculars, 7-inch singles and sundry. And we've written down 40-ish.
Yeah, so there's no makes or nothing. So
no, just
it couldn't have been anything that sort of stood out then. It was just a load of camera stuff.
I remember you opening the boxes.
Go back a couple.
There was those two things in there. So yes, I think you've sort of had that idea in your mind based on what you saw. There was things in these, but it's the old UMIG. Do you remember we had something the other day in the backlog, and it was UMIG?
Right. Yeah.
And we
There's
were like,
quite a lot of
weird.
stuff on that shelf. So what I might do, I said 40-ish, but it might be in the actual bid of 40. So it would be, and it end up being 52.
Yeah, because remember this folder? There was a folder there that had lots of paperwork in.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So we were sort of trying to figure it out, weren't we? So yeah, this is a difficult thing with is a lot of it is guesswork. It's already up to £30. So there's already some
Chances
interest
are I won't get that.
in it.
So I'm going to have to look at these pictures a bit further and see if I can see any information. I may have taken pictures actually, because sometimes we do when we're at auction. I might have taken some pictures of certain items. So I obviously need to double check the value. So this figure at the moment, it's going to be around the £40 that we might bid, but obviously that may change.
Yeah.
If I've got any pictures.
Yeah, I know you looked in depth at some of these bulbs and things like that. It was
right. Okay.
So yeah, I think that needs a little bit more looking at. But I'm going to sort of put a little star against that, because that's sort of what you were thinking.
Yeah.
So should we move on to the next one then, Hum, which I was quite keen on. This is lot 590, and it is I think we've got one box going up, because this was it, wasn't it?
One picture, yeah.
Yeah, sorry, did I say one box? One picture going up, and it is brass items. We've bought a few brass items, we've sold a few brass items.
Yeah, we have.
We're keen on getting more brass items, aren't we, hon? And we're keen for getting them for a cheap price. Now, when we had a look, you can see the same as the picture that we're looking at. It's just a jumbled old box full of brass. There's some horses in there. There's the bits behind it as well. There's at least one set there of bookends. What do you bid for that? So what we the way we did it, hun, was we counted what we consider the top layer, and then we sort of times it by what we thought.
It is literally a really rough guess. It's not.
And we thought there was between 50 and 60 items.
Yeah.
Now this is a difficult thing now, is the pricing of it, because normally if we were at a charity shop, we'd be quite happy to spend £3 on a brass item that we'd get £15, £16 for.
Right.
But when you add it up, that would be like £180. We wouldn't want to spend £180 on that box.
It is,
because it could be all broken and just tapped.
It could be, yeah, that's exactly it. But then there could be some real gems in there.
So it's
how do you reduce it down? Do you go half then? Do you go £1.50 an item or £1 an item?
Yeah, that's the thing. It's trying to really figure it out, because at the minute it's currently got a bid of £38.
Right. Okay. So that's going to go.
So that's already going for £50, £49.40.
Right.
But whoever's buying that is committing to paying £50. So it's really deciding I'd like it, but you just don't know what you're getting in there. That's the thing. So it's sort of a bit of guesswork, isn't it?
It is, yes.
So do we do £2 an item, or is that it's a lot of money, isn't it, to commit to?
So what? Yeah. So how many items?
50 to 60, we
so
think.
We're talking
but
120. What, plus fees or?
That is just a guess. We haven't routed through the whole box.
Yeah.
There might not be 50 to 60 items. It might be a lot less.
So if it was £120, you're looking at 156. Yeah.
Do we want to spend £156 on a box?
Not really.
No.
I think
it seems expensive for that picture.
Just really thinking what maximum price you would want to.
Yeah.
Would you want to go over £100? for one box?
I mean, I don't know. Would we even be able to lift that box?
Yeah, it'd be all right. Be all right.
I don't know. £100 is a lot of money to commit to something that we are sort of buying blind, really. And this is the problem you have, is that you see some good stuff and you're probably saying, yeah, pay more than that. But if we're putting in 26 bids, what if we win a few bids? Before you know it, you spent hundreds of pounds. So you do have to be a bit careful. Sometimes we've bid on 30 items and we've only come away with one thing. But you don't know, do you? Until the day, you just don't know how much money you're investing on what you're buying.
So what about if you did £1 an item and but you use that as your top bid and then plus fees? So it'd be 78.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Whether we'll get it or not, sometimes these things aren't meant to be.
We will get that. But
so are we saying we're bidding 60,
60,
did you say?
Yeah, then
£60
obviously plus fees on top, yeah.
So there you go. That's how we sort of do it. Sometimes you can base it on a per piece, but
It's some of it is, you have to have a feel for it, and some things yes you can research, but you can't research all of that.
no.
You just have to go with your gut sometimes. I mean, we may end up going slightly higher if we're going to really study the picture, but we might not. And so yeah.
So it's also worth noting that we are looking at all of these items on Sunday. So we went to the auction on Thursday morning, was it, Han? Thursday morning?
It was.
It's now Sunday. Now, the reason we're looking at it now and filming this video now is because the auction is tomorrow, and what to put a bid in, you have to do it before the day.
Well, to put an advance bid in,
yes.
we put, I was wrapping there a bit, we put advance bids in the day before, and a lot of the time we will tend to leave it and then we say what will be will be. On the actual day, I don't think you can actually put a bid in before the auction runs, so you have to then bid live. So yeah.
So the reason we like to do that is so that overnight we can sort of see what ones we've already been outbid with, because obviously everyone else is doing the same sort of thing.
So
then it gives you a bit of time to sort of weigh it up and go, okay, do I bid an extra couple of pound or whatever? But it's not. This auction is in increments of £2, but of course it's not, because it's £2 plus your 30%.
Yeah.
So it's just bearing that in mind.
Yeah.
So should we move on to the next lot then, hun?
Yeah.
Which is, I've written down wooden. Look at that.
Wow, I know exactly what that is.
So this is lot 624. This is going to go for good money, I think, hun.
Yes, it is.
Because it's what they call a box of mixed treen, including tribal masks. So you'll have 3 photos to look at. So I'm going to show you, hun. So you've got this one here, which is these little trinkety boxes. Then you've got this one with the tribal masks, and then you've got this one here with things like candlesticks and woodeny type things. Now, it's currently up for £20 bid already.
Right.
When we were there, we counted everything. There are 45 items. Again, it's the same sort of principle. What do we want to pay per piece? We wouldn't be looking at paying £90, would we, if we were going to pay a couple of pound each? So it's really looking at it. I mean, these trinket things, they're not going to go for massive amounts on eBay singularly. You're probably looking at between £8 and £12, I'm thinking.
Okay.
I haven't looked, but based on others we've had in the past. If you were to do bundles, obviously you would save a bit more and save on the postage and everything. But realistically, I think this is going to go for quite good money. But what sort of money are we looking at, sort of?
What's your thoughts?
Oh, do we do around the... I mean, I like the trinket boxes. The other things, like a single candlestick's not going to fare too well.
So that is just...
There might be another one in there, but I don't know if we'll be lucky enough for that.
Yeah.
I'm sort of thinking I wouldn't really want to be paying £90 or more.
So what are you thinking?
It's a bit of guesswork now, isn't it? £60 all in.
So what we're talking,
What does that?
£60 all in. So your bid will be around 62.40 would be £48 bid. So if you take it at 62.40.
Can you put 62.40 in and see what that would work out? Divided it by 45. What would that be per piece?
62.40.
Yeah, divided by 45 items. £1.38. See, we'd be happy with paying that, wouldn't we?
Yeah.
So may not get it, but we'll put £60 all in. Right.
So, no. Do you want to put?
Sorry.
No.
Is it not £60?
No, 46.
46.
No, 48. Sorry.
48.
48.
I've forgotten my own system.
Yeah, we put the bid down there, don't we?
Yeah, I've got it wrong. Got it wrong again, Dad.
Don't start that.
So let's move on to lot 642, Evesham Vale. Oh. Now we've had. We're going to put up 2 pictures. Now, if anyone doesn't know Evesham Vale is this sort of fruity design. The Evesham Vale has the gold. No, Evesham Vale has the green trim.
Yeah.
Evesham Gold has the gold trim. That's how you differentiate between the 2 Eveshams. It's currently up at £2. Now we've had.
But it hasn't had a bid.
It hasn't had a bid.
Opening bid is £2, so it hasn't had a bid.
We've bought at least 2 lots from auction of big lots of Evesham Gold.
When we say big lots, it was a big lot.
Yes, trays of it.
Yeah.
And we have sold the majority of it, I think. We've sold a lot of Evesham Gold.
Yeah.
Not so much of the Evesham Vale, but there is still good money in it when I've looked at it.
There is. I don't think that's as popular as the gold, though, is it?
No, but it's still fairly old, so there is demand for it.
Yeah.
When we were there, we counted. Now we've counted each item. There are 84 items. What we didn't do is inspect every single item, because you can't do that. People are trying to get by you. You can't be lifting a plate up and holding it to the sky and going all around looking for chips.
No.
So I've got no doubt there may be odd ones that have got signs of wear or whatever.
Yeah.
When we've had it in the past, we've tended to, on the bigger items, sell them singly. On the plates and saucers,
cups and all that.
either pairs or in 4s. That's how we've tended to do it. So what are we thinking?
What was it, 84?
I think the last auction we went to, they had some. We didn't touch it with a barge pole because we'd already bought some.
It's a lot. Well, it's
a lot of bubble wrap.
It's a lot of bubble wrap. A lot of postage. It takes more time and more risk, to ship them. But so the last one we didn't bid on. But this one. So it depends on what would you be prepared to pay for an item? Would it be like 50p?
Well, yeah, that's the thing. I mean,
I don't know.
I do like dealing with it because from my point of view, it is a quick baby wipe and a quick listing, and then you can copy and paste elements into other listings. So it is, you can get a whole batch of it done in a really quick time. So I personally do like dealing with it, but as you see it on the shelf there, when you go to collect it, it's on the shelf like that. So just if you are new to buying from auction or you've never bought from auction, just be aware that whatever you buy, you have to transport. So we would turn up with tray boxes,
crates, anything like
with
that.
Blankets, because it's literally like they expect you to take it, and it's like that on the shelf. So just be aware of that. I know that one of them is in a tub there, but again, look at the picture in the tub.
It's just thrown in the tub, really.
It doesn't give you a lot of
confidence.
No, when you see it hoofed in a tub like that.
Yeah.
It's not a lot of care has been taken with it, which makes me worry a little bit.
So it's really then based on that. What are you thinking per item then? Is it?
Yeah, I'm sort of thinking 50p an item, which is going to make us sound really cheap.
Yeah, but it's one of these lots that you're probably not that worried about if you don't get it.
No, if I don't get it, it's not meant to be.
So if you're talking,
if I do get it, I want to get it cheap.
Item, so what's that? 42. Is that total, or are you bidding 42? So it'd be 54.60.
What does that make it? If you do 54.60 divided by 84 items, what does that make it?
54.60 divided by what? 84.
84.
So 65p an item.
Yeah, I don't mind that.
Okay, so we're bidding 42.
42.
And then...
I wonder if everyone watching is thinking, oh my goodness, they're really tight.
It's not with, like I say, you have to be.
It's the time involved dealing with some of the things.
Yeah, that's it.
And you don't, just because there's 84 items that we counted doesn't mean there's 84 sellable items.
Yes,
that's something to
it's
bear
always a
in
gamble
mind.
with auction. You know, there's no comeback on it. You can't take it back. You know,
no, that's it. You are lumbered with it. Whatever.
You bought it, and if you've paid a lot of money for something and half of it is no good,
yeah,
then that's no good, is it?
So let's have a look then. The next lot, hun. This is going to be one you're going to be surprised I've written this down, because you tried to dissuade me when we were in the auction place, but I've written it down to show people, so we can have a Barney live in one of our videos.
No.
This is a selection of vintage Victor comics, 5 boxes. Now I love a large quantity.
I think
of
Marie's forgotten about the knitting patterns.
Yes, and also we bought 4 or 5 boxes of Dandy and Beano comics some time ago. But we bought them and they worked out to be 5p a comic.
Yeah.
And we were selling them for
very
bundles
cheap.
of like $14.99, getting between $12 and $14.99 for them.
Mm.
But with anything, there's a few things to be aware of when you're buying with comics. So you have 2 pictures here. So the first picture, you may be able to see that on the left it's Victor comics, then we've got in the middle Warlord, and on the end, I'm not quite sure what that one is, hun, but look at the condition of them. The Victor and the Warlord look flat, they look in good, looked after condition. Bear in mind these are from the 70s. The one on the right, above the Taunton Exhibition Cider, that's not, they are not what I'd call a sellable condition.
Right.
So there's going to be an element of how much work is this? Is it really worth it? But they've not had a bid yet.
Right.
So it's one of those things you think, is it cheap enough?
Cheap, and like you said, if you can do some bundles again.
But the thing to bear in mind with comics and things like this, what we've noticed is there's 2 ways you can go. You can do individually, because people buy them for something like Grandad's birthday, or that was released on his day of his birth. Or you can do a run. So when we did the Beano and the Dandy, we had a lot that were in a run. It was someone who collected them. So they are quite good because people like a whole year. You get a whole year of it, and they buy that as this was Grandad's year of his whatever. So, you've got to look at it. We haven't looked at these because we do sort of have flashbacks to how we did the last lot. Because for us, we went down the do them in bundles, which meant laying them on the floor, doing the pictures of the front, turn them over. Not great when you're looking at doing that on a massive scale, over and over and over again. So it's whether we want to go through that again. If it's cheap, but I don't think 5 boxes of comics are going to go cheap. So what sort of thing are we talking? We've got no idea on how many are there. It's a complete guess.
Yeah.
Do we do something like all in £20, £26?
I really highly doubt you'll get it for that.
Yeah. I just think it's a lot of work. Are we bothered, or are we just not bothered?
Yeah. It is a difficult one because you just don't know. You could
get them really cheap, but
there might be no demand for them. But
yeah, they do sell. But like I say, most people tend to do them singly. We wouldn't go down the single route because there's not enough value in it, and it's too timely.
I'd say between 20 and 30.
What, all in? See, 30 would be 39. I don't know if I want to. Do we want to spend almost £40? I don't know.
24 would be 31.20.
Should we do that then?
Yeah.
Plumb for in the middle.
24.
So £24 is our bid. Now we're going to move on to lot 655. Now I've chosen this one to show you because this is the thing with auctions is you can get excited and you can forget some of the simple things to remember because of the perception of it all. So looking at this picture here, I think you've got one picture. Now most people would assume that these are boxed, they're new, but that is not always the case, is it, Hum? Now, if someone collected them, for example, they could have had them on a shelf for 5 years, getting dusty, and then, I'm going to sell them, I'll put them back in the box and take them through auction. So they could be damaged, but as a newbie going to the auction, it's ever so easy to assume that they're new. And work out a price based on, I'm going to sell these for a really good price. So we go the other way because we have bought lots of things and we've learned that a picture can be really deceiving. So the way we look at this is we counted 24 items. If we're honest, we're not that bothered about getting them. I don't think we'd go more than £1. The resale value is not that great. Some of the bigger ones, on the right there's 6 bigger ones. If they are okay, they sort of go for around the £14.99 mark. Are we interested at all? They've had a £2 bid. The problem with this item is that the bears, where they're sort of a resin, they've got lots of little grooves and dust collecting points, haven't they? So if they have been on a shelf, you've got to get a paintbrush and you've got to go in between all the. And sometimes, you can't wash them. They're too delicate for that. So sometimes they just don't clean up enough. So it's whether we just go silly.
What's your gut saying?
And my gut's sort of saying £1 an item, and we might get lucky and they might have some clean ones.
£1 an item plus
all
fees.
in.
£1 an item all in. Okay, so you'll be looking at £1 an item all in is around about £18.
Yeah, I know. I'm never going to get them for that, but that's not a bad thing. I think sometimes.
Okay.
If it was a different,
lock it in.
If it was a different, me to you is good, but I don't think. And you have got Valentine's Day coming up, but we wouldn't turn it around in that time. I wouldn't sell them in that time. So it's sometimes it looks appealing in the picture, but it's not.
Okay.
So we're going to move on to a Sundry lot. This is £4.95, and this is what we love about the auctions. It's random tat. We're going to put up 3 pictures for you to have a look at. It's classed as a Sundry lot, including china, paperweights, handbags, etc. That is the wording. So if I show you the pictures here, and we've got this one here, lots of china, breakables. Then we've got this one. This is same sort of thing. This box here, hun, has actually got a glimpse of some paperweights. Then we've got some bags and some leather look bags. Whether they are leather or not, we don't know.
So how many pictures did you say is going on?
I've put up 3 pictures, and I think one of them is of the bags, just to show people.
Okay. Yeah.
Now, this is a sort of thing that we love to look at because you don't really know what's there. What we did do is pull out a couple of the paperweights.
Yeah.
One was a Concord paperweight. That's as much information as we know. We've got no idea on the volume. It's too many to count.
It's a gamble one. But sometimes there are some hidden gems in there, and we have had that in the past.
Yeah.
Where the lot has been very good. But then I would say we've ever lost out.
No, we always made money at auction.
Always make money on it. But how many boxes was it? Sorry.
It was on 2 boxes, I think. 3 boxes. Is that 3? 3 boxes, I think, and these bags. But you just don't know, do you? Really, that's the problem. It is complete guesswork. A lot of people go to the auction on the day and they buy up all the lots that like this that no one wants for a tenner. But it has got a bid on it for £2, and that might be because it's got the word paperweights. Paperweights always do really well at the auction, don't they? It's very rare for us to actually buy a lot of paperweights. We put in for it, but we never get it. It's because we don't really have enough knowledge of paperweights, so we sort of guess, don't we? So yes, we've sort of highlighted it to show you how it can be quite random and really difficult to guess a price because you are sort of just guessing. And there is that risk that you could lose money because these tiny bits could be damaged.
They could be, but then, like I said, I don't know. So what's your initial thoughts?
Let's look. What about around the £60 mark? It's just plucked out of the air there, hun.
Is that
Well, if we did £50, it would be £65 with fees.
Yeah, I'm happy with that. So I was thinking, yeah, I was slightly under that, but no, I think we'll look at that and we'll keep an eye on it.
So I'm putting 50
it's just,
in.
again, I might just have a closer look at the boxes, see if I can zoom in a bit and see. But yeah, no, I think I'm all right with that. It's we have had some amazing buys in the past, haven't we? With things like this,
we've done really well with
cheap.
some bits.
Yeah, we've done really well. So yeah, I mean, all these bids, they do sound they're all
cheap.
quite cheeky bids. There's nothing on this one that I would say is quite wowy.
No, normally we have at least one lot that we are dead excited to get.
Yeah, and we will go for it.
But we've noticed in the last few months, because we've looked every month, and I think it's about June time, hun, that we did the last auction. It's been some time ago. Christ. Every month we've looked, because we know people like watching the auction videos as well, but we're not going to take all this time to go through this, look at all that, if there's nothing there that we actually think we're going to make money on. So we've had a look. There's a few bits we were really excited to go, weren't we, and have a look. And there are some things you could make money on. It's whether we actually get any of them or not.
Yeah, that's it.
But this is sort of how we work it out. I'm just going to look at the time because it's almost another hour each.
Yes.
So now we're up to, let's be realistic, and I don't know, what are we 40 minutes-ish, something like that?
Yeah.
So how many hours shall I put on here to our total?
If you're doing 40 each, so add on another hour and 20 then.
So an hour and 20, so that now takes us up to 6 hours.
Yeah.
Looking at things from this auction. We haven't even put the bids in yet. That'll be done after the video stops, because we don't want to bore you with all that.
No, but I mean, obviously we've only shown you a selection. We are bidding on more than that.
26 lots we're going to bid on.
We will share, won't we, what we actually win.
If we win anything, there's no guarantee.
We might not win anything at all, and then you might be watching all this and think, well, they haven't won anything.
We've already spent 6 hours of our time to get to this point, and the auction's not even started yet.
You have to be strict with yourself, because if when you've done your research and you have a price in mind, it's very easy to go way over that price and get drawn into the auction. So you do have to be sort of tough on yourself, really, don't you?
Yes, this is why we do it beforehand, so that we don't get swept away with it. And then on the day we will be watching it as it's happening, and then we will be weighing up whether we should put another cheeky bid in.
We don't go to the auction house. A lot of auction houses have obviously bidding there and then, but you've got to be there all day. We tend to do it from home, mainly, and have it on in the background, and mainly because we can get on with other stuff and keep doing our listing and keep working, basically, as well as having that on in the background and keeping an eye on it.
Also, we've got coffee here, haven't we?
Oh yes, we've got the coffee here.
And it's really cold in that place as well.
It is pretty chilly, yeah. So that's the sort of way we do it, isn't it?
But this is where we are at this point.
Yeah.
So the next video will be seeing what we've sort of won.
Yes.
It'll be seeing the bids, seeing what these. We'll have a look at these 10 things. We'll record these 10 things.
You said what we've won then.
Well, that's because I'm assuming we're going to win something. But it will show you what these things have actually gone for, and you can see how massively out we are with our prices. How tight we are.
Yeah.
But we'll show you that on the next video. So so thanks ever so much. It's kind of you to watch this style of video. We hope you like seeing something a little bit different from us.
Yeah, I hope you're learning something.
Hope it's not been too boring.
Yes.
So thanks ever so much.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you for taking the time to watch our video. And if you liked our content,
please like and subscribe to our channel. Subscription's free. Just press the little red subscribe button and the bell icon, and then you'll be notified for our future videos.
Thanks for watching.
Thank you.